Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. That means it's time for your Monday message of mental health with me, Dr. Jenn from the Rose Center for Learning. And this week, I want to talk about trait or trap. Trait or trap. So, we all have a lot of traits that can either go positively or negatively, depending on the context, how we're feeling, and how they're perceived by other people. The person I'd like to introduce you to who's written a lot about this is a man by the name of Don Clifton. And he came up with the Clifton Strengths Assessment, which is similar to a personality assessment, but as it is in its name, it's really trying to focus on what are your specific traits that really are at the core of who you are and how you shine and how you see the world and interact with it. And they are strengths. So the very nature of the work he was trying to do is to say, stop trying to be a different person. Recognize who you are, what your strengths are that drive your personality, and appreciate them. And then try to craft a world, whether it's a job or in relationships or in goal setting or even in hobbies, try to create a job that highlights those strengths rather than deciding something is a strength and trying to make your personality fit into that, when maybe it's just not where your personality shines, but your personality does shine over here. If you want to know more about Clifton's strengths, and I highly recommend you check him out, then the best place to go is Gallup, like Gallup. Perhaps you've heard of Gallup polls, Gallup.com. And if you put in Clifton assessment, Clifton strengths, excuse me, then you will get to be able to take your own assessment. They have I think it's a free 5 trait version and a full 34 trait version. And it comes with lots of information that gives you an idea of what traits, what they mean. But what I wanted to talk about today is, even if you don't do all of that, I wanted to introduce the concept of a trait can be really a positive trait. But if you are stressed, or if the person who is perceiving you in a specific way, that positive trait can actually turn around and be more of a trap. And then oftentimes it can actually put out very inauthentic, sometimes even the opposite of how you actually feel. And this is an important thing to realize. Once you realize what your traits are, you want to know what the potential is, what the potential trap is, so that you can avoid it or understand it when conflicts come up with other people or situations. So I'm going to give you some examples so you know what I'm talking about. I use the words trait or trap, but Don Clifton's words are balcony or basement. So a trait's balcony is when everything is working really well and you're at your best. This is how your trait shines. Basement means if you're stressed, if you are grieving, if you are depressed, if you're anxious, or if the people that are in the situation are seeing the trait in the basement way, you can watch how it turns around. So I'm not going to read you all 34, don't worry, but I highlighted some that are common traits that were good, like representation of what I'm trying to say. So if you're an achiever, your balcony, or in my terms, your trait is that you're tireless, you have a really strong work ethic, you like to lead by example, you're a go-getter, you're hungry. These are the positives, right? These are the wonderful traits that come with being an achiever. But the opposite of that, the trap, is that you can be seen as unbalanced, you can be seen as a brown noser, you can be seen as overcommitted and not being able to say no. You can be seen as burning the candle at both ends, which sometimes is just a reality, but I guess some people think is a negative thing, or too concentrated on work and addicted workaholic. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, same trait, same achiever, but in different light, those things can either be a trait or a trap. Adaptability is another one. So the trait of traits of adaptability: you're flexible, you're comfortable in times of change, you're easy to get along with, you go with the flow. But the trap side says you're directionless, you're indecisive, you are a sheep, you're inconclusive, you're whimsical. whimsical is not necessarily bad either, but okay, so that's how you can be seen. Belief as a personality construct means that your traits are passionate, steadfast, knowing where you stand, altruistic, family-oriented, ethical, responsible. But the trap is stubborn, set in your ways, elitist, unaccepting of other ideas, opinionated, goody two-shoes. I'm going to use myself as an example. Get to it. So I don't know if this is going to shock you, but my two loudest qualities are positivity and woo, which I'm actually really fond of. Woo stands for winning over others or winning others over. I'll go that one first. So woos are very good at networking and connecting people together. So they don't shy away from conversations. They're really excited to get into a conversation. Every person they meet is a potential new awesome friend or business partner or idea generator, but they also like linking people together too. So the traits are outgoing, people-oriented, networked, rapport builder. But the trap is that they can be seen as fake, as shallow, and not caring about deep relationships, right? So if you can imagine somebody who's going around and being really focused on new and the beginnings of relationships and trying to make connections, that the danger is that they'll be seen as shallow and not really going in for depth. Now, if you tell someone who has woo that, most of the people I imagine like me would feel ruffled. My feathers were ruffled. I said, that's not me. I'm not fake. I'm not shallow. I genuinely care about people. And that's the idea, is that if I was stressed and unhappy, it easily could come out that way rather than the way I feel is really organically me. But also if someone else is wherever they are at and they're perceiving me that way, it can be seen as a negativity rather than a positivity. So speaking of positivity, that's the last one I'll do. And that's, so someone obviously, positivity, you're enthusiastic, you're lighthearted, you're energetic, you are humorous, you're generous with your praise of people, you are optimistic. But the trap would be insincere, naive, superficial, a Pollyanna. And so again, those are two sides of the same construct. So I put it to you, knowing who you are and what parts of your personality shine forth. Ask yourself, how can this be a trap? How could it be perceived as something against or negative or a barrier or a challenge or an undesirable quality? Because every side has two, no, every coin has two sides. Why do I say phrases? I never say them correctly. Anyway, there are two sides to every coin and also every personality construct in this case. So, so those are the steps. Really get in touch with what your personality constructs are. Embrace them, embrace those traits, see how they have gotten you as far as they have and how they can continue to help you shine. Organize your life around them as much as possible, but be aware of the traps. Be aware of the traps. And that way you can stay in the trait and avoid the trap. That's your Monday message of mental health for this week. Tune in next week for more. I don't know what I'm going to do. Could be amazing. That is your Monday message of mental health for this week. I'm so glad you tuned in. Please, as always, enjoy these messages and then share them all over the place so that more people can enjoy them. You can also visit our website and see us on social media. All of that information is listed at the end of this Monday message. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. Enjoy the autumn.